Alrighty. Hello, everybody. Thank you for joining us today. We do have a pretty packed agenda, so I'm going to go ahead and get things started for us now so we can get through everything in the time we have together today. So, without further ado, for this month's office hours, we have a lot of great new features that we're going to be covering here that you can see what we're going to go through. I won't list through everything. I'll have Linus show you all the greatness that these features have attached to them. So this is what we can expect to cover today. So we're really excited to have you all here to learn more about these latest features. And with that being said, Linus, I know that a lot of people here probably already may know you, but if you want to just give a quick intro.
Yeah, sure. Thanks, Holly. So I am the senior product manager on Crew Control. We have been pushing out a lot of functionality here in the last couple of years that I've been here. Pretty excited to chat through today's office hour session. And as always, we are listening to what you guys are telling us, and we will put out functionality as the number of you that require some of these features kind of builds up. We'll definitely get it out there for you.
Awesome. Thank you. And just some quick reminders before we dive into the product. Please make sure that if you have any questions, feel free to ask them throughout the session. We will leave time at the end to answer those. But if you have any questions, chat those in and we'll make sure to get those covered. If anything requires additional context or anything like that, Linus or a sales member will always make sure to follow up with you afterwards. So fear not, we will always make sure to get your questions answered. We will be sharing a recording of this with you within the next day or so. So keep an eye out for that in your email. And then we are continuing to do this every single month. So that will not change with the new year. We will be back in January. So we hope to see you at the future sessions as well. So thank you for your time today. And I will close things out here and pass the screen over to Linus.
Okay, so first up is we have this new feature where you can now assign an opportunity over to an admin user. There's this little pull down menu for assign to that is different. It didn't exist previously. You'll see that I have a couple of names here. Now, how do we, firstly, how do we even get these names and where are they coming from? These can be found under settings and manage admin users. You'll see that I have two users that are set up. We have this middle column here called name. This previously didn't exist. And in the event that you don't have a name here, name that's been entered in here, you will see the email address that will appear under the assigned to. So for example, I'm just gonna remove that out because it is moving forward. It is a mandatory field. Previously, a name wouldn't exist in there. So once you have it entered in there, it is required to be entered. And we do capture it upon save. So over here, it defaults to, you can see everyone. That means that if an opportunity has been assigned to no one or to either of the people that either of the admin users, you can go ahead and select that. So for example, I can go ahead and select my name and I'll see all the opportunities that have gone through since the moment they came through. They've been in progress and they have been accepted and even scheduled. And similarly, I can do that for the very next person. Where there's a lot of value here is that if you're looking for a little bit of a cleaner presentation of your cleaner and organized presentation of your sales pipeline, you can do this, especially if you have more than one person handling your proposals and estimates to your customers. Next up is the ability to archive multiple proposals at once. And this was pretty challenging, and we got this request from quite challenging previously, and got this request from a lot of our customers where we would only previously we would only give you the ability to do this one proposal at a time. So you'd have to apply that selection there on the three dots and archive, and you can only do that one at a time. Now, you can go ahead and select multiple of these and hit the archive button, and we will output how many proposals are being archived, and you still have access to these archived proposals under their respective customers' records. A new piece of functionality that we just released based on some feedback that some of our customers had is when a proposal, based on your workflow, when you send a proposal to your customer, more often than not, there are images associated to that. So, for example, on this particular proposal, I have attached these images here to it, and I've gone ahead and sent it to the customer. Now, let's pretend the customer has gone ahead and accepted the proposal. Previously, we wouldn't give you the ability to move those images onto the job card, which we understand can be important, especially if those same images still hold true in reference to if your crew or technicians out in the field and you need to view those images on the, when you're on the go. So now, when you go ahead and select a job, there's this little button here that says add proposal attachments. It's a link. When you go ahead and select that, all the attachments that existed on the proposal will now go immediately over onto the job card. And from here, you have the option to close these, to remove these images too. So if you have 20 images that go over, but you don't want to be selective of them, only have 10 of them, you can go ahead and remove the ones that you don't need. Next up is a global setting for proposal email summary. Now, we received a lot of feedback from our customers where they would, when a proposal goes out to their customer, there is a preference that a total dollar amount and the line items don't appear on the proposal. And we didn't give you the flexibility of not displaying that. And the reasoning behind not displaying that on the proposal could be several reasons. However, the most important one being if your customer would see the dollar amount on the email itself, they wouldn't go ahead and actively select the proposal. So now we've created a setting where under customer communication for proposal email, you can either turn on those details where they will immediately see within the email what the dollar amount is and the line items, or you can turn that off. If you turn that off, the benefit being your customer has to actively go ahead and select view details of the proposal, and then all of your intro text, the line items, and any contextual information that you want to convey to your customer on here's the pricing and here's why, that will reside in there. So simply, if you want to turn that on or off, enter, set, and go to settings and customer communication, and then select this pencil icon, and it'll give you that context here of what's the action that you're performing and what by removing and what it affects. So specifically, intro text, line items, and the total price. Next up is adding a hyperlink to your intro and footer on a proposal or an invoice. So let's say you want to invoice your customer, and you're going to go ahead and create an invoice. Now, for this very invoice itself, if I want to, looks like this one has a paid file. Let's go ahead and do an email. So now in the event I want the customer to leave a review, I can please leave a review here. I can go ahead and select that, and I can select the text I want to apply the hyperlink for, create the hyperlink, and you'll see what text has been hyperlinked, and I can place in the review for whether it's whether it's a link to my business via Google review. I can go ahead and place this here, or Yelp. I can go ahead and do this. This way, your customer has the ability to quickly access your account where they can place your public account where they can place a review for your business. And once again, this exists in your intro text, and this also exists in your footer text, both in the proposal and in the invoice section. Next up is you can assign your customers as tax exempt. this is a new, the reason why this is important is if you have certain customers that are tax exempt and you can identify them as that, when you go ahead and invoice, what we present is we don't give them, we don't allow you to have your tax that you have, global tax that you have set up applied against that invoice. So let's go ahead and enter into one of these customers' accounts. A few things here. Immediately when you view this particular customer, you'll see that there is an area here where it's identified that this customer is not tax exempt. If you want to go ahead and update that, you select the pencil icons for their customer account to edit their customer account, identify them as being tax exempt and safe. You'll see that this customer is tax exempt. Now, when I go over to create this particular customer's invoice, you'll see here that the tax rate area is actually grayed out. And the reason that they're grayed out is the customer is tax exempt, so no tax amount can be applied against them. Editing service tags is the next item to discuss that we have enhanced. Now, a lot of our customers have had weren't aware that service tags was something that could be edited. Previously, this is how they've always been able to be edited. When you go ahead and select the service tag and you can edit service categories. When you select edit service categories, you have all these several different options. But there's no way for you to really edit these or edit the names and edit the colors. And users weren't aware that this was even a piece of functionality that we had. So now, when you go ahead and create a job or edit a job, and you type in a new category, there's this little icon here at the bottom that will launch that same screen. Edit service categories, and you can go into here and edit the categories you want and even identify which ones would be inactive. Next up are timestamp on images. I think when I presented this just now, you noticed a couple of interesting items here on proposals. So specific to this, I took these images back in November, and these images were saved on my mobile device and photo libraries area. And when your photo library on your device saves a phone, a timestamp is actually captured the date and the time. And the value here being when you upload images, especially when you're out in the field, when your crew's out in the field, your technician's out in the field, and you take a before and after, before the job and after the job images, they are now going to be timestamped. Should you pull up an image from your photo library, that one's going to be timestamped as well. And that way there's a little bit more transparency with the customer of when those images were taken, and more confidence is built in that relationship between yourself and your customers. A few areas where this has been updated. When images as such will update with the timestamp on the proposal if they're coming from your device itself. They will also appear with the timestamp if they are uploaded from the photo, if they're taken on the camera off the crew mobile side, or even if it's uploaded from the mobile device when they're out in the field. And another area that this also affects happens to be the area under daily job details. So a few enhancements here are, you'll see now we've actually, previously we had these images stacked one over the other, which would result in a bit of a poor visual experience. It would result in a really long daily details report. What's nice is now we have them side by side next to each other, And also when you print the particular job card, you'll see that the images will appear side by side next to each other. Similarly, you can also print the entire daily details and the images will appear next to each other as well. Now, that wraps it up for what we have released since the last office hours. A few things that I do want to call out of what we are actively, what we have queued up in a pipeline. We're working on a fun new functionality called proposal upsell. This will give you the ability to list out what your mandatory items are that the customer has requested, and then your optional items that they can go ahead, optional items that you want to convey to them that you, if they do want to select it, it can go ahead and get it agreed upon as part of the estimate, and you can float those optional items over onto the job from there once they have accepted it on the proposal. Also, presently, our digital proposals that get sent to the customer, there is no print icon on that. We have a print icon, this very print icon right here on invoices, but we don't have that on proposals. We will be introducing that. In addition to proposals, we're also updating the timestamps and when they're accepted and when they're rejected. We're going to have those statuses updated on the print form. So if they select the print icon and they're viewing it, the status of those proposals will be displayed there as well. Also, we've received a lot of requests on introducing concept of an end date to recurring jobs. We will be actively working on that. And lastly, the ability for customers to view what their outstanding invoices are and have them pay them. I know this has been an ask from several of our customers. So this is a feature that we have actively queued up and should be coming out in the next month or two. And that's it from my end. If any of you have any questions, happy to chat through them.
Yeah, we have a little over 10 minutes left, so feel free to add in any questions in that question and answer panel, whether it was on something Linus covered or even if it's, outside of that as well.
There's a question here. Is there anything in the works regarding assigning certain crew members to certain jobs? So we're amidst some discovery around the assignment of crew members to jobs. However, that's specific to maybe a crew view management style, and I actually have a lot of questions around that, specific to, is this the day before you want to manage the crews, or is it the day of you want to manage the crews and move that around? So I may have to follow up with you on that, because there are a lot of questions that I think we may questions and Q&As around that particular topic we probably have to chat through. So I'm going to document that and get back to you.
We also have a question, Linus, in the question and answer panel from Jonathan Hitchman. It is any update for the PO number when creating a work order?
No update yet. That is something that we have queued up. And once, yeah, Jonathan, I know that's something that you need. We will definitely have that as an item that we put through in our pipeline really soon here.
We have a question in the chat. It says, I'm new to this tool. What does a work order look like and how do I access?
So a work order can start off initially as a proposal, starts off as a proposal. Your customer goes ahead and accepts that. And then from there, you can go ahead and schedule a job. And specific to that, it sounds like if your question is what is a work order, we may have to dive into a little bit of a demo around that. But specifically to get you going, I can briefly show you here. If you want to, a work order is typically similar to that of adding a job. So you can go ahead and add whether it's a single job, multiple jobs, which you can identify how many jobs you want over a several day period, or you can add a job that has a recurrence, whether it's annual, monthly, weekly, or custom frequency. When you go ahead and select the job, you can identify who that customer is, if they exist in your Rolodex, if they exist in your Rolodex, or you can actually create a new customer here. From here, you can identify the date you want this job scheduled, and where in your queue you want to schedule, whether it's the first job of the day or after other jobs that you have scheduled. And as you scroll through here, you can add particular products and services here and go ahead and save. And then that's going to save that job in your queue. So that would be a job is very similar to that of a work order. Holly, would you be able to document Mike's question? I think it would be beneficial if someone from sales kind of reached out to him and provided him with a full demo.
Yep, absolutely. I'll mark that down and make sure that we have someone follow up with you, Mike.
Thanks. So Mike went ahead to ask a question to his pricing. You actually you actually have the ability to show the pricing or not show the pricing. So specifically here, Mesa. So you can a few things that you can do. You can control how you as an admin view this screen. So depending on who the end your question is based on relative to who you want to see the pricing and who you don't want to see the pricing. Let's say you yourself are the admin, you can go ahead and set up the admin view display here. And you can turn on whether you want to see the amount per visit or not. Now, if you are dispatching your schedule to your crew, you can go ahead and turn on or turn off if you want them to see the amounts and even the job line items. You can go ahead and turn that on or off, however you wish.
We have a few minutes left if anyone has any last questions they wanted to throw in there. We had another one come in. Is there a crew member login so they can see the calendar without being able to create work orders?
Without being so there is what you can do is you can dispatch the schedule to them. There is flexibility with how you want them to see the schedule, as in Do you want them to only see the day of schedule, or do you want them to see the entire week's schedule? And that particular aspect does exist. We don't have a specific login for them where the crew logs into, well, let's say, an app or logs out of it. Let me see if I can show that to you. Give me a second. So specifically, when you go ahead and dispatch the schedule here, there you can go ahead and set up the automatic schedule as well. And you can identify if they receive the schedule every day, they can go ahead and set it up as such. And so if they receive a link on their, more often than not, most of the crew members will receive a link on their mobile device. You can opt to also send it via email only or mobile only or both. And when they receive that at a scheduled specific time, they go ahead and select the link and they're viewing their schedule for the day. They also have the option to view the schedule for that particular entire week. The most that they can view the schedule for is the week of. Okay, the next question is, how can I dispatch individually? So specific to, if you only want to dispatch individually, such as go ahead and select dispatch, you can X out crew members, or you can select a particular crew member. And even if you don't want to do that and you only want to dispatch it to one person, you can do that here. Now, if you have your crew members that are set up here, you can, and even if you want to add yourself, you can go ahead and add yourself here and have that set up. But the key thing is you want your crew members in here, the ones that you're going to dispatch the schedule to. So when you go ahead and select dispatch schedule, and the reason Steve Smith always appears for dispatch schedule here is because under crew 1, I have Steve Smith set up as one of the crew members, so he's always going to appear. Now, in the event I want to select someone else, you'll see the drop down list for all my crew members that appear here. And instead of going, if I have a really long list of crew members that I don't want to sort through, just start typing in and select the one you want and select dispatch. And however you have that crew member set up. So if I go into Alan Anderson here and I edit and let's see, I go ahead and edit their profile, I can see how I have them set up to receive the schedule by. It's email for this particular person. However, I could do both email and text, or I can just do text alone. Okay. Michaela, in regards to your question, give me a moment. Just gonna stop sharing here. Okay. So Michaela asked a really good question, which I didn't cover. And the question being, how how can the crew see the rest of the week? And so when you go into settings and crew view display, there's this little button here at the very top that says pull jobs from future days of the schedule. So you can either set it up to be only set it up for tomorrow, or you can set it up for the full week. So that's where you can turn that on. Next one up is if we add an hour amount, for a job, is there a way to put a limit per day so the dispatcher will know if he is overbooking a technician? So that's a great question. Now we have time-based scheduling here. And now let's pretend there's a scenario that for this particular technician, irrigation. Okay, yeah. So under my irrigation crew, I have these 3 jobs. If I go ahead and select a new job, you actually move these jobs over to Wednesday. Now, a few nice things are you can go ahead and select anywhere on the screen and it will pop up that timing. Now, if you enter in what your start time and your end time would be, your scheduler will actually get notified right here. This job has the following conflicts of which job and when. And from there, that's how your scheduler will actually be aware when scheduling a job if there are conflicts. And should there be capacity and that's okay, the scheduler can continue proceeding with creating this job, or they pause and they revisit the schedule. And they can either they're aware of what the conflict times are, and they can go ahead and schedule the start and end time to be after that or before that, however they wish. Good questions.
Alrighty. If we don't have any more questions, we do have a question. So, where will we be posting the recorded webinar? So we will be sharing out the webinar via email to the email address that you registered with. We'll make sure to share that out. If you don't receive it by the end of the day today, be on the lookout for it by the end of the day tomorrow. But that will be in the email that you registered with. Awesome. Well, thank you everybody for joining. Like Lina said, we had a lot of great questions. This was a really awesome session. Great way to cap off the year. I hope everyone has an amazing holiday season, and we look forward to seeing you all in 2024. Thank you so much. Have a great one.
Bye.
Bye.